Welcome to VESPA Voices. This is Nadine. On this episode of VESPA Voices, we're going to explore the leading issues paraeducators have and steps being taken to address them. With me today is Robert Ybarra, Vice-President of VESPA. Thanks for joining me today.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for having me. And I look forward to this.
Robert, you've led a series of meetings with elementary and secondary paras in our district. What did you learn?
Well, what I've learned is, some issues differ, but then yet there are many that are common in both elementary and secondary.
You had a couple of meetings and a list of issues came up. Let's go through them.
The one that always comes up is training, is a lack for training for paras to be able to address some of the behaviors. They wish they could have more of the ABA training, how to de-escalate some of the behaviors. NCPI training, not all have had it, which was a surprise that some of the site administrators think they don't need it, but they should have it. CPR is always a big one, and especially medical training for those students with specialty healthcare needs, because paras want to know what they are in for if something should arise. Hopefully nothing ever will, but they want to be prepared.
Sure. So for the trainings, how do we address that?
What we've done thus far with the district is we've gone to them, we've voiced our concerns, and what they have done is set up a committee. It's a SPED collaborative committee where we're able to meet with the SPED management team, VUEA and VESPA and HR. So we're all in there and we bring up concerns from both paras and teachers since we work as a team. And thus far, they've listened, and this executive board that the district has, we feel very confident with them.
This is the SPED and collaborative team that's addressing the training issue, or the school board?
No, this is the collaborative with the Dr. Castro's executive board.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad that they're receptive. It seems like it would be a win-win for everyone to have people trained. So what are the obstacles?
But, it really didn't seem like there was a lot of obstacles per se, just a matter of getting it done. Mm-hmm. So this committee has led to the PD training days that they've offered for all classifications, not just paraeducators, but that was the focal point because they've had trainings for just paraeducators in the past, but that led to that. And yes, it's voluntary, it's not mandatory, but yet at the same time, you're compensated for your time. So that's a big issue. And they also have incorporated some CPR. They had one this last time, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, just about 20 persons took it. So all that stems from
They had a number of classes because I took one.
They had several different classes, and all that stemmed from the committee meetings and the district actually listening.
Oh, good. Perfect. And they're going to continue on with trainings and offer more?
They're going to continue with training. We're going to build more trainings, and hopefully we can fix what's there now in place and bring on more new and better ideas.
Oh, good. What's the next point?
Well, some of the things that we find are job descriptions from Para 1s, Para 2s, and Para 3s.
Yes.
Not everybody seems to know exactly what their description is. And also their site teachers aren't really familiar. Site administrators aren't really familiar. But
some of the job descriptions are pages long, not just a paragraph, right?
That is correct. And sometimes it takes time. But what I tell everyone is go through your job description. You're saying you're doing something that you shouldn't. Look for it. Find it within your job description. If it's not there, write it down. And I know that's what I had done before. We had the Para 1s and 2s and 3s. I went through each job description, wrote down everything that we did, and I had other paras do exactly the same thing. And then I compared it with other districts, what they did. It's time consuming. Yes, I know.
Yes.
I know it's painstaking, but if you're able to do it, then we have ammunition to show the district, hey, this is what they do. Maybe a reclassification's in order.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay. And then have you done that recently? Have you reclassified anything?
What
Anyone?
what the district has done, again, back to these committee meetings, they're starting to refill and reclassify the positions at Elmhurst Elementary
Yes.
from para 2s to para 3s as they become vacated and they're bringing in new people. They are becoming para 3s.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Action is happening. All right. What's the next one? I see you have communication collaboration time.
Yes, the communication collaboration is always a big one. A lot of the paraeducators feel that they don't have enough time with their teachers for collaboration, but the district has given each site, I believe it's an hour a month for collaboration. Their site administrators should be aware. They've let them know. So teachers can say, okay, let's have a meeting on maybe on your banking days. Some sites have them like Friday's their banking day.
Right.
They have it right after school for 30 minutes. Some will use the entire hour. Some will split it up. But they're given that, and you put it on your timesheet, and you're compensated for that time.
Good to know. Breaking news.
They told us at the committee that all the principals were made aware.
Oh, good. Well, that is good news. It seems like maybe more time might be needed, but that's a good start.
Yes. Yeah, that is a good one.
Okay. And then I see a point. Teamwork?
Teamwork. Yeah, teamwork always seems to be sometimes issues at certain sites, not every site. But sometimes you get that little bit of a division, if you want to call it. But, well, that's not my classroom, so I only take care of my classrooms. But, we're all paraeducators for a site. And that's what we need to mesh that teamwork, able to know and understand what everyone else is doing. And that's where training comes in, because some classrooms may differ a little bit. And the communication needs to come in as to how much help do you need, because there are times where you're working on a behavior and maybe one of your students is having a behavior, and out of the good heart of another para who may be coming out of another classroom may want to step in and help, but you have to turn them away at the time and say, we're working on a behavioral plan. So right now we're just leaving that particular student alone. And yeah, sometimes they can take it a little like, oh, well, then why should I be offering my assistance? But sometimes that's what it is. They need to communicate. We're working on a behavior plan. We appreciate your help and your willingness to step in and help. But sometimes it's in the delivery. You just got to remember to let them know what it is that you're working on.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And we're hoping to get some training on teamwork, collaboration, and how to work together.
Team building exercises. I hear
Yes.
that's a fun thing too.
Yes. Yeah. It can be very fun.
Okay. And then how about radio communication?
Radio communications is, I always feel it's a very vital tool to have and utilize your radios, because some say, well, I have a phone, but if you have to, let's say you're running after a student, it's hard to dial on your phone. You have your radio, you can, as you're running, you can communicate. A lot of sites, radios aren't working, and some say, well, we have 5 radios, only 2 work, or maybe only 1. Your site they need to bring it to the attention of the office manager, site administrator, because they're replacing them and they are also sending them out for repair. But I always feel radios are a vital tool to use.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's talk about do's and don'ts of the position, right versus wrong.
See, yeah, that's another issue that kind of comes up, because some of the paraeducators are feeling as to, well, should I be doing it? My teacher told me, hey, can you go and do this particular task with the student or what have you? And you don't feel comfortable. Well, that's something that you need to communicate with the teacher.
Can you give an example?
Let's say the student is eating. Here's just going to be an extreme. The student went, they have their food, They just sat down, the bell rings. Now the teacher says, okay, I want them in class, take their food away. Well, they've only had maybe one bite. I don't feel comfortable in taking their food because they haven't eaten. Well, the teacher says again, take it away, throw it in the trash. They need to go to class. It puts you in between a rock and a hard spot. What should I do? What should I not do? You don't feel comfortable, maybe communicate with the teacher. And if you still don't feel comfortable, you could always communicate that with the site administrator.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And this is an issue that came up in the meetings, huh?
Those are different little scenarios, not that particular
not that
one.
Particular,
I just made that one
yeah.
as an example. But yeah, there's other issues that have come up.
Okay. It's all part of the communication that we need to learn to do better.
Communication is a big, big issue.
Okay. And then another point, safety equipment.
Yes, safety equipment. I know there's some of the students who can be very combative at times, kicking, hitting, scratching. And paras are those that are in the front lines that are getting the brunt of it. And if it's on a continuous basis, your sites, if you don't have maybe a blocking pad or sleeves for those that may bite and scratch, even gowns for those when you need to change a student, all that's available. And if you need it, ask your site administrator and they will order it. Special education management says all they need to do is ask.
I guess many people probably don't realize that there are those things available. Like, doesn't seem like it's in the realm of the possible. So you don't even know to ask for it.
Right. Sometimes those are the tools that you don't know that they exist. But again, those hopefully that'll come around during more training.
Very good.
Back to that word, training.
And then your last point here is communication from site administration, staff meetings.
Staff meetings. That's always been a big issue that we're never included. That's not just paraeducators, but classified staff. Well, they have a staff meeting, but my day ended. I have left for the day when they have the staff meetings. Some sites try to have it, and then there's others that are just, it's never happened. We're already in the month of, almost at the end of April. Some say I've never been invited to a staff meeting or I've never attended a staff meeting. But that's important to have because, again, that goes back to communication. Everybody on the same page. It's even including, let's say, active shooter training, lockdown training. A lot of times it's done to the certificated staff. Then it's passed down to classified or ESPs and paraeducators. Because I've had it where you've gone out, you say, hey, this is what they told me that we're supposed to do. You compare notes, and sometimes they differ. So it's not on the same page.
What do you recommend that we as classified ask our site administrator to include us in staff meetings or at least one or two?
No, that's a start. You could always ask them, say, it'd be nice if we could have a staff meeting. Sometimes on days where it's like a PD day, if they don't have training, you can have a staff meeting. Minimum days, you can say, it'd be nice to have a staff meeting, and hopefully they can have that and get that going for the ESPs, because it's important, again, because they want to be in the know. You need to know what's happening around campus.
We're at the end of our school year, just about. It's amazing. So is a lot of this being addressed and carrying over into the next school year, or at the beginning of the next school year, will there be a grand announcement that all these issues resolved?
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be a wish list to have everything resolved. But slowly, the district is, like I said, they are listening. The wheels don't churn as quickly as we would like them to, but slowly they are churning, and it's going to be continuing through next year. And hopefully we can get some better and some new ideas as far as better training, better communication for next year. Because like I said, we feel confident with this executive board and with the committee that we're working with, and we're getting good, positive feedback from them. And they're starting to, like I said, with PD training days and reclassification of some of the paraeducator positions. And they're listening, I should say. And we are listening too. Like I said, continue feedback giving to us. Attend paraeducator meetings, attend VESPA meetings. We take everything, we write it down, and don't think it just goes on the wayside. It's brought up. It is brought up.
Very good. So, final thoughts?
Continue working the way you work. Continue supporting your teachers. Continue supporting the students, which I know paraeducators are out there working hard and they care so much about their students. That's their number one thing to do, is support their student when they're at work. And they care. They go above and beyond.
Definitely.
Continue working. Continue doing what it is that you do.
Well, that's our show. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for more updates and information. If you've got questions, send us an email at your email
My
changed.
email changed, and I'm thinking it is VESPAVP1@gmail.com.
And at VESPAPresident@gmail.com. And we'll talk about it on VESPA Voices podcast. Thanks for listening.